It's the most unbelievable place you could ever imagine, deep below your feet, nearly 768 feet under the surface. Have you ever thought about what exists just beneath our everyday streets? Hidden from plain sight are vast underground worlds filled with history, mystery, and human creativity. These are not just small tunnels but entire networks of passageways, chambers, and even underground cities that few people ever get to see. Some of these places cover millions of square feet, stretching so far and deep that they could shelter tens of thousands of people. They are cooler than the surface, built with clever designs, and shaped to survive the toughest conditions. From hand-carved gardens to Cold War military bunkers, every underground site tells a story of survival, ingenuity, or pure imagination. When you step into one of these spaces, it feels like entering another universe, quiet, secret, and timeless. Some tunnels still whisper the voices of the past. Some chambers hide forgotten stories, while others continue to serve practical purposes today. These hidden realms are proof that beneath our feet lies more than rock and dirt. There are entire worlds waiting to be discovered, places that reveal just how far human determination and creativity can go, even in the darkest depths of the earth. Forestier Underground Gardens in the early 1900s, a young Sicilian farmer named Baldassare Forestier arrived in Fresno, California, full of dreams. He hoped to farm the land, but what he found was unyielding hardpan soil so tough it could not be plowed. Instead of giving up, he picked up his tools and began to dig. What started as a solution to one problem turned into a lifelong project that lasted nearly 40 years. With his own hands, Forestier carved out an incredible underground world, rooms, courtyards, passageways, and gardens, stretching across 10 acres. Some tunnels reach depths of about 25 feet, where the air stays cooler in summer, making it the perfect escape from the blazing Fresno heat. Clever skylights allowed natural daylight to filter in, while the excavated soil was reused for planters and arches. Down here, Forestier grew oranges, kumquats, loquats, and jujubes. He even built spaces for living, bedrooms, a kitchen, and areas for relaxation. Today, visitors can explore 65 of these remarkable spaces, including a fish pond and grotto. The site is recognized as California Historical Landmark FA 916 and has been on the National Register of Historic Places since 1977. The Forestier Underground Gardens stand as a breathtaking reminder of one man's determination. What others saw as useless land, he transformed into a hidden masterpiece, a living, breathing garden city beneath the earth. Camp Century Ice Base. During the Cold War, the U.S. Army built one of the most unusual bases in the world. Camp Century, hidden under the ice of northwest Greenland, about 127 miles from today's Thule Air Base. Soldiers carved out 21 tunnels stretching nearly 2 miles long, buried deep within the shifting ice sheet. From 1960 to 1963, the camp ran on a portable nuclear reactor, giving it the power to operate far below freezing. The site was more than just a base. It was part of a secret plan called Project Iceworm, a bold idea to hide hundreds of nuclear missiles beneath the Arctic. But the project quickly failed. The ice moved much faster than expected, warping and breaking the tunnels, making the underground system impossible to maintain. By 1967, the Army abandoned Camp Century, leaving behind fuel, sewage, and even low-level radioactive waste sealed beneath the snow. Yet Camp Century still left an incredible legacy. In 1966, soldiers drilled an ice core sample and unknowingly preserved tiny ancient plants. Decades later, scientists discovered these frozen remains, proving that Greenland had once been free of ice and able to grow vegetation. Today, scientists still study Camp Century's remains with advanced radar, learning how ice sheets move and how our climate has changed. What began as a Cold War military project has now become a vital window into Earth's past and future. Las Vegas Underground Mansion beneath an ordinary. Looking home on Spencer Street in Las Vegas lies one of the strangest Cold War creations ever built. An underground mansion. In the 1970s, businessman Jerry Henderson designed it as both a luxury hideout and a fallout shelter, about 23 feet below ground. What he created was a complete underground lifestyle, blending safety with Las Vegas flair. The 16,000 square foot underground shell holds a 6,000 square foot ranch-style home. Inside are all the comforts: bedrooms, a living room, a kitchen, and even a swimming pool. The outdoor scenery was faked with painted skies, murals, and lights that shifted from sunrise to sunset. Grass, patterned carpet, artificial trees, and hand-painted walls gave the illusion of living above ground. There was also a putting green, a barbecue area, and a stylish 1970s bar still preserved today. The mansion had its own generator and fuel supply, designed to be self-sufficient in case of disaster. After Henderson's death, the home became a curiosity, occasionally open for rare tours. In 2014, it was bought by the Stasis Foundation and later put on the market for millions. While it may not be deep enough to serve as a true nuclear bunker today, it remains a fascinating piece of Cold War history, part survival shelter, part Las Vegas extravagance, and proof that even underground style was never forgotten. Toronto Page Network. Beneath downtown Toronto lies one of the largest underground pedestrian networks in the world, known as PATH. Stretching nearly 19 miles, it connects more than 70 buildings through a maze of tunnels, creating a second city beneath the surface. With over 3.7 million square feet of retail space, PATH is filled with shops, food courts, and services, around 200 in total, that together generate billions each year. The network has been growing since the mid-20th century, with the city officially coordinating its expansion in 1987. Entrances connect directly to Union Station and several subway stops, making it possible for commuters and visitors to travel across the city center without ever stepping outside. This is especially valuable during Toronto's freezing winters or stormy weather. Color-coded signs guide crowds through the busy underground, where walkways are bright, clean, and always bustling. It is not just for shopping. It's a lifeline for the city's business district, linking office towers, hotels, and transit hubs. For many locals, PATH is part of daily life, a hidden grid that moves 500,000 people with ease. Though it runs below the streets, PATH feels like a city of its own, alive with activity, sheltered from the elements, and proof that urban design can thrive underground just as well as above. Greenbrier Secret Bunker. Hidden beneath the elegant Greenbrier Resort in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia, lies one of the most secretive Cold War shelters ever built. Known as Project Greek Island, this massive underground bunker was constructed between 1958 and 1961, covering more than 112,000 square feet across 2 levels. Its purpose was extraordinary. If nuclear war broke out, it was designed to house the entire United States Congress. The entrance was disguised behind the resort's West Virginia wing, making it invisible to the public. Inside were enormous blast doors, one weighing over 20 tons and nearly 20 inches thick. Beyond them stretched a hidden world dormitories for over 100 people, a cafeteria, decontamination chambers, communications rooms, power systems, and massive storage tanks for water and diesel fuel. Everything was built for survival, not comfort. For over 30 years, its existence remained a tightly kept secret. That changed in 1992, when the Washington Post exposed the bunker in a major story. Soon after, the government decommissioned the site, and today it is open only for guided tours with strict rules: no cameras, no phones, and even age limits. The Greenbrier bunker stands as a reminder of Cold War fears and the extreme measures taken to protect government leaders. Buried beneath a luxury resort, it is both a marvel of hidden engineering and a chilling symbol of the nuclear age. Detroit Airport Light Tunnel. Beneath Detroit Metropolitan Airport's McNamara Terminal lies a stunning surprise, an 800 foot-long light tunnel that feels more like an art installation than an airport walkway. Opened in 2001, it links Concourse A to Concourses B and C, transforming a simple passage into an unforgettable experience. The tunnel's curved glass walls and glowing ceiling are lit with continuous, color-changing LED lights that move in rhythm with a custom 30-minute soundtrack created by composer Victor Alexeif. Colors shift softly from deep blues and greens to warm reds and yellows, wrapping travelers in a calming wave of light as they walk or ride the moving walkways. Practical as well as beautiful, the tunnel was engineered to withstand the enormous weight and vibrations of aircraft taxiing directly overhead. For travelers sensitive to bright lights or sound, special buttons at each entrance can pause the show, allowing them to pass through in comfort. More than just a shortcut, the light tunnel eases the stress of travel, turning an ordinary walk into a moment of peace and wonder. Even decades after opening, it remains one of the most photographed and memorable features of Detroit's airport, proving that even in busy transit hubs, art and design can completely change the way we experience a journey. Kansas Salt Mine Museum. Deep beneath the Kansas prairie lies a hidden world known as Strataca, the Kansas Underground Salt Museum. Located in Hutchinson, it sits 650 feet below the surface inside a working salt mine that first opened in 1923. What makes this place remarkable is not only its massive size, stretching across 980 acres with nearly 150 miles of tunnels, but also the way it preserves both history and science. The mine was formed about 275 million years ago when an ancient sea dried up, leaving thick beds of salt. Down here, the air stays at a steady 60 degrees with about 45% humidity, creating perfect conditions for storage. That's why a section of the mine is used by underground vaults and storage to protect treasures such as the original reels of The Wizard of Oz and countless Hollywood films. Visitors reach the underground by elevator and can ride the Salt Mine Express train or a dark tram tour, exploring giant chambers, 40-foot salt pillars, and floors paved with crystal like salt rock. As part of the experience, guests even get to keep a chunk of salt as a souvenir. Strataca is more than a tourist attraction. It's a working mine, a natural time capsule, and a secure vault for cultural history. Walking through its endless tunnels feels like stepping into another world, one carved not by human hands alone, but by millions of years of Earth's past. Havre. Beneath the streets, in the small town of Havre, Montana, history lives below ground. After a devastating fire in 1904 destroyed much of the surface, shopkeepers and business owners refused to give up. Instead, they moved their work underground, creating a hidden network of rooms and passageways that kept the town alive while the streets above were rebuilt. Today, this remarkable place is preserved as Havre beneath the streets. Visitors walking through these tunnels step back in time. Authentic spaces still exist. A saloon where cowboys and railroad workers once gathered, a Chinese laundry, a bakery, even a bordello and an opium den. Each room tells a story of survival, resilience, and the daily lives of people who found ways to adapt in difficult times. The underground district was not glamorous, but it was essential. Glass skylights set into the sidewalks above allowed faint daylight to filter down, keeping the hidden businesses lit and ventilated. In these narrow spaces, a whole community carried on serving families, workers, and travelers. Today, tours operate year-round, showing visitors the preserved rooms and sharing tales of Havre's past. Tickets are affordable, and the experience feels like stepping into a living time capsule. Havre beneath the streets stands as a reminder that when disaster strikes, determination can build a new world, even beneath the ground. Indianapolis Catacombs. Beneath the bustling Indianapolis city market lies a hidden maze of brick arches known as the Catacombs. The name may sound mysterious, but unlike Europe's famous catacombs, these tunnels were never used for burials. Instead, they are the remains of Tomlinson Hall, a massive public meeting hall that opened in 1886 and stood beside the market. Tomlinson Hall was once a proud centerpiece of the city, with space for more than 500 people. Its basement served a practical purpose, storing goods and moving supplies for the busy market vendors above. But tragedy struck on January 30, 1958, when a fire tore through the building. The flames were so fierce that water from firefighters froze in the winter air, covering Market Street in ice. The hall was destroyed, but its underground arches endured. Today, the catacombs are all that remain of Tomlinson Hall, and they offer a rare glimpse into the city's past. Visitors can explore them on guided tours, beginning at City Market, where guides explain how architect Diedrich Bohlen designed the arches in a Roman style. Dark, cool, and atmospheric, the Indianapolis Catacombs are not haunted crypts but living history, a quiet, hidden layer of the city that has survived for more than a century beneath the busy streets of downtown. Crypt of Civilization at Oglethorpe University in Georgia, inside Phoebe Hearst Hall, lies one of the most ambitious time capsules ever created. The Crypt of Civilization. Sealed on May 28, 1940, it is a room measuring 20 feet long, 10 feet wide, and 10 feet high, to preserve a record of human life for thousands of years. The crypt is not meant to be opened until May 28, 8113, over 6 millennia into the future. The idea came from University President Thornwell Jacobs, who wanted to leave behind a detailed record of life before 1940. Inside, over 6 out of 40,000 pages of books and documents were microfilmed alongside newsreels, sound recordings, and everyday items. Among the objects sealed away are a Donald Duck doll, Lincoln logs, and household tools, along with instructions to help future generations understand English. Unlike treasure hoards of the past, the crypt contains no gold or valuables, avoiding the temptation of theft. The chamber itself is lined with porcelain enamel plates and sealed with a welded stainless steel door, designed to withstand time. Guinness World Records has recognized it as the first successful modern time capsule. For historians, the Crypt of Civilization remains a powerful symbol of preservation. It is not just a vault, but a message across the ages. An attempt to speak to people thousands of years from now, telling them who we were and how we lived. Tennessee Cave Concert Hall, far below the surface in McMinnville, Tennessee, lies one of the most unique performance spaces in America, the Volcano Room inside Cumberland Caverns. Sitting about 333 feet underground, this natural limestone chamber has been transformed into a concert hall unlike any other. Its most striking feature is a massive 500-pound crystal chandelier, rescued from a New York theater and hung high above the cave floor in 1982. The Volcano Room can hold around 600 guests depending on the setup, and its natural acoustics give music a warm, rich sound. For a decade, from 2008 to 2018, it was the home of the PBS award-winning series Bluegrass Underground, which later became the Cavern Sessions when moved to a sister venue. Even today, the Cavern continues to host live shows under the name Cumberland Caverns Live, drawing audiences into its cool, echoing depths. The cave's steady temperature and dramatic rock formations make every performance unforgettable. Stalactites and stalagmites surround the stage, turning concerts into something both natural and magical. Beyond music, the caverns also offer tours year-round, allowing visitors to explore millions of years of geologic history. Part concert hall, part natural wonder, the Tennessee Cave Concert Hall proves that great art doesn't only belong in grand theaters. It can thrive in the hidden beauty of the earth itself. Washington, D.C. tunnels beneath the heart of the U.S. Capitol lies a hidden network of passageways. The Washington, D.C. tunnels, built to connect the government's most important buildings. The first section opened in 1909, when a small underground subway was created to carry senators between the Capitol and the Russell Senate Office building. Since then, the system has grown into a secure web of tunnels linking offices, libraries, and legislative chambers. Today, 3 short subway lines connect the Russell, Dirksen, and Hart Senate buildings, as well as the Cannon, Longworth, and Rayburn House buildings directly to the Capitol itself. These simple cars allow lawmakers and staff to move quickly, avoiding traffic and bad weather. Beyond the subway, other pedestrian tunnels link the Capitol Visitor Center to the Library of Congress, giving visitors a seamless way to explore without passing through security multiple times. Some tunnels were once even used to transport books directly from the library to the Capitol, though these narrow passages were closed during later renovations. The Cannon Tunnel, still used daily by staff, is lined with student artwork, turning a functional hallway into a gallery. While some tunnels are open to the public, many remain restricted, guarded by Capitol Police. More practical than mysterious, the Washington, D.C. tunnels are a vital lifeline, keeping the government moving smoothly beneath the busy streets of the nation's capital. Springfield Underground. Beneath the east side of Springfield, Missouri, lies a massive hidden world known as Springfield Underground. Once a limestone mine, it has been transformed into a vast business park spread across 3.2 million square feet of climate-controlled space. The underground stays at a steady 62 degrees F year-round, making it perfect for storage, logistics, and shipping. The facility is so large it feels like a small city beneath the ground. Individual areas range from 50,000 to 400,000 square feet, with more than 224 truck docks to handle shipments. Every day, over 400 truckloads move in and out, while 3 miles of internal rail track connect directly to the BNSF Railway, allowing goods to travel across the country without ever being exposed to weather. Known by many as the Cheese Caves, the site is often used by food companies to store perishable goods in chilled areas ranging from 20 degrees F to 55 degrees F. But it's not just food. Springfield Underground also stores general products, documents, and materials that need secure, stable conditions. Its location near major highways like Interstate 44 makes it an ideal logistics hub, hidden from storms, extreme heat, and snow. What began as a mine is now a thriving underground network that keeps goods moving across America, proving that some of the busiest supply chains operate far below the surface. Old North Church Crypt. Beneath Boston's historic Old North Church, officially known as Christ Church, built in 1723, rests a preserved colonial-era crypt. This underground chamber contains 37 brick tombs that once held around 100 burials spanning from 1732 to 1860. Unlike simple graves, these were family vaults, where coffins were carefully stacked in brick-lined rooms beneath the church floor. Among those buried here are significant figures from early American history. Major John Pitcairn of the British Marines, mortally wounded at the Battle of Bunker Hill, rests in one of the tombs. Reverend Timothy Cutler, the church's first rector, is also interred here, as is Captain Samuel Nicholson, one of the first commanders of the U.S. Constitution. Each name tells a story, tying this underground crypt to both the Revolutionary War and Boston's colonial past. Today, visitors can descend into the crypt on guided tours. The National Parks of Boston even offers special evening programs that explore burial traditions and recent archaeological discoveries. Ongoing research continues to shed light on the people buried here and the customs of their time. Quiet, cool, and solemn, the Old North Church Crypt is a reminder that Boston's history is not only written in its streets and monuments above, but also in the silent chambers below, where the city's past still rests, hidden in brick and stone. Arizona Cavern Hotel along historic Route 66 near Peach Springs, Arizona, lies one of the most unusual hotel rooms in America. The Cavern Suite inside the Grand Canyon Caverns. Accessible by elevator, it takes guests about 200 feet underground into a vast limestone cave that has existed for millions of years. Unlike damp caverns, these are dry caves with no natural light and a constant cool temperature, making them a safe and eerie refuge. The Cavern Suite is furnished like a luxury hotel room, but its setting is unlike any other. Guests sleep surrounded by stone walls in silence, far below the desert surface. The room includes beds, a seating area, and access to the cave's wider chambers, giving visitors the sense of living in a hidden underground world. The caverns have a Cold War past as well. In 1962, they were stocked as a fallout shelter with food, water, and supplies for 2,000 people. Many of those rations remain stored here, offering a glimpse of mid-20th century fears. In 2022, the site made headlines when a broken elevator briefly stranded visitors underground until crews repaired it. Beyond the suite, the Grand Canyon Caverns also feature a restaurant and guided tours showing off dramatic cave formations. A night in the Cavern suite is part history, part adventure, and part luxury, an unforgettable chance to sleep inside one of America's largest dry caves. Crystal City Passages. Beneath the neighborhood of Crystal City in Arlington, Virginia, lies a network of underground passages first built in the 1970s. Known as the Crystal City Underground, this system was designed to connect office towers, residential buildings, shops, restaurants, and the metro station through a safe, climate-controlled walkway. For tens of thousands of people, it became a way to move around without facing traffic, rain, or the blazing summer heat. At its height, the Underground Mall was lively and full of activity. Cobblestone-style walkways lined with boutique shops, antique stores, and a food court gave the passages a small town feel hidden beneath the city. Commuters could shop, eat, and travel all without stepping outdoors. Over the years, though, Crystal City Underground began to decline as businesses moved out and street-level activity became a greater focus. By the 2020s, only a fraction of its shops remained open, leaving the passages quieter and less traveled than before. Still, the Underground is a remarkable example of mid-20th century urban planning. While it no longer thrives as it once did, the network remains part of Arlington's identity, an ambitious attempt to create a second city below the surface, built for comfort, connection, and convenience. Old Sacramento Underground. Beneath the historic streets of Old Sacramento, California, lies the city's original street level, hidden since the late 1800s. In those days, constant flooding from the Sacramento and American rivers threatened to wash the city away. To survive, leaders made a bold choice. They raised the entire downtown by more than 20 feet. Instead of tearing down existing buildings, new streets and sidewalks were built above them, leaving the old storefronts and walkways buried below. What remains today is a fascinating underground city frozen in time. Hollow sidewalks, sloping alleys, and preserved foundations reveal what life was like before the streets were lifted. Visitors can step into these narrow brick passageways on guided tours run by local museums and California state parks. During a tour, guides explain how workers painstakingly raised streets and buildings, sometimes even jacking up entire blocks. They also share stories of daily life in a city constantly threatened by water.